Hi everyone, so welcome back to my channel. So we have come to the 8th video of our Mern Stack series. So we have covered entire basics of the reactjs, and in this video we're going to start with the next hook, that is useRef hook. If you have not watched the previous videos, I'll recommend you to watch that first and then watch this video. Otherwise it would be very difficult for you to understand. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So now let's understand that why we use useRef hook and what it is. So basically, useRef hook comes into existence for two cases. The first is that it allows you to persist values between renders. What does it mean? Let's understand it better through the code itself. What I will do is, in the previous example only, that is counter.js page, I'll create a variable here, that is let a equals to 5. Okay. Now what I will do is, in the return function here, I'll copy this thing and print the value of a. Okay. After this I'll paste it and I'll print the value of a. I'll simply write value of a is a. Okay. Yeah. So now let's save it. What I will do is, let me just make it as a equals to a plus 1. Okay, what I want is, whenever there will be any state change, you know that this method, this return function will re-render. So if this will re-render, that means for every state change, my value of a will increment by 1. That we know, right? Because we have seen this in useState hook also. Whenever there's any state change, the component re-renders. And if it will re-render, the value of a will update to a plus 1. Okay, I will save this and I'll get back to the output. For that we need to start the application first. I'll open the terminal. So in this I'll write firstly the name of this application, that is change directory my app cd my app. Okay, and then I will write the statement as npm start to start our application. So now you can see the output on the screen, like we are getting the value of a as 6. Why we are getting 6? Because like firstly we initialize it to 5, and when this whole component will render for the first time, the value of a will be displayed as a equals to a plus 1, that is 6, right? Now what I'm expecting is, if I click on any of these 3 buttons, okay, if I click on any of these 3 buttons, then what will happen? Then the state will change. So if the state will change, this component should re-render, and if this component will re-render, the value of a will also increment, right? This we know, this we are expecting to happen. Now let's understand and check out that is it happening so or not. So what I will do, I'll click on this plus button. You can see there's an increment in this first button, but I can't see any change in the value of a. Why is it so? Because I'm just writing here a equals to a plus 1, it should display 7, but still we are not getting the output. Why is it so? So the reason is that whenever the state is changing, the whole component will re-render, and if the whole component will re-render from beginning, then the value of a will again initialize to 5. Okay, so every time it is re-rendering, the value of a is again changing to 5, then 5 plus 1 changing to 6, again it is changing to 5, then 5 plus 1 changes to 6. So this is happening. So that means there is no persistence in maintaining this value of a. We want a persistent value, so that even if the component re-renders, the value should be persistent. So how is it possible? It is possible if we create a variable using the useRef hook. That is only this statement is saying. This one. The useRef hook allows you to persist values between renders. Okay, so how we can create a useRef variable? We'll simply just remove it. I'll write useRef. Okay, I'll write the snippet for this, and before that we have to import this at the top. I'll simply write here useRef, enter. I'll remove this. So now it is imported at the top. Now we'll get back to this. Okay, now I'll name this as a, and then in this we'll pass the initial value of that useRef variable. I'll put it as, let's say, 5. Okay, now where I'm displaying this value of a, I will not write a, I will write a dot current. Okay, we'll simply write a dot current. Similarly here also we'll write a dot current. Okay, so now let's check out the output. Is it working or not? We'll get back to the application, and now if I click on any of the button, let's say I'm clicking on the plus button, you can see now it is incrementing, right? So even if I click on restart button, then also it's incrementing by 1. So now you can see that with the help of this useRef hook, we are able to persist the value even if the component re-renders. Okay, now let's check out the second use case of useRef hook, which says that it can be used to access a DOM element directly. Okay, to understand it better, let's just get back to the code and do some practical example for this. So let's just create a useRef variable again. Okay, I'll create this useRef variable and we'll refer it by a variable that is, let's say, use. Right now what I want is I want to refer a particular button through this useRef variable. How we will do it? Let's check out. So after this third button, I'll create one more button. Okay, and I name it as, change it to the change. I'll change the text to change. Okay, and I want to trigger certain functionality here, and I'll name the function as, let's say, change only, right? Okay, now we will create a function change here. Okay, I'll name it as change. Right? Okay, so now in this function what I will do is I will refer that particular button, this button, using that useRef variable. How is it so? We'll just put a attribute here that is ref. Okay, ref, then inside this we'll write the name of that useRef variable. What is the name of that useRef variable? That is use. Okay, now in this ref attribute I'll put use. This means that firstly we created this useRef variable. Now we are using that useRef variable to refer to this button. Okay, if we have to normally do it, we have to do it through DOM manipulation. But now the next use case is that using that useRef hook we can refer to any element without DOM manipulation. Okay, that's the property of useRef hook. Now as I have told that we will run this function on clicking on this third button, right? So now we'll write the functionality here. Let's say I want to change the text color of that button. So how I will do, I'll just simply write the name of that variable, that useRef variable, use dot current. Okay, don't skip to write the current, right? Then I want to add the color to it. For that we have to write the style. Then in this we'll write the color equals to, let me change it to green color. Okay, now what I want is if somebody will click on that button, its text color should change to green color. Okay, now let's save it and check out the output. Is it working or not? Okay, let me refresh it. So now you can see there's a button here, and now let's check out, is it working or not? So I'll click on this button. So now it's working perfectly. You can see that the text color has changed to green. So this is the second use case of useRef hook, that we can refer to any element in this document through useRef variable without actually using the DOM manipulation. Like in the DOM manipulation we have to use get element by ID or this kind of things, but we can get rid of that using the useRef hook in the reactjs, right? So in this video we have discussed the useRef hook and the two use cases of that. Okay, the use cases are, firstly it is used to persist the values even if the component re-renders. Second use case is it allows us to access an element in the DOM directly without using the DOM manipulation, right? So yeah, that's all for today, and I hope to see you in the next video. But before that, do subscribe the channel and hit on the bell icon for more such updates. Thank you so much.